Hey everybody, I'm Brian Hogbin, and we are at our FIA Show. What does that stand for? That is right, yes. And the reason why we call it the FIA Show is because our whole mission is to put you in a place of financial security. So one day if you're at a job you don't like, you're, with a boss you don't like, or in your place you just don't like, you can literally say, fuck it. Do you know what? If you have the tools, the knowledge, and the education to be able to do that kind of stuff, then you can actually live the life of your dreams and not just read about it or watch it in a podcast. You can actually do it. So that's what we're committed to here at Mission 35 and the FIA Show, to get you guys to do that.
Absolutely.
And I got two rock stars right here that really encompass that as well. So I want to first recognize Alfonzo Salemi from Jag Properties. Give it up for Alfonso. Thanks, buddy. You are the man, buddy. And then I've got Joe the Legend, Giannola. Everybody give it up for Joe. Joe is one of our top mortgage agents at Mission 35. He has an amazing past too, being an underwriter and a franchise owner as well too. So he's really seen a lot of different businesses. So we're going to sort of talk about that as well too, which is cool. So thanks for coming, Joe.
Thanks for having me, Brian.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're so kind. So I just want to start out. So for people that don't know you, Alfonso, give us a little background about yourself, about who you are.
Yeah, so I was born, raised in Hamilton.
Woo! Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. That's the best city in the world, man. Best city in the world. So,
Absolutely.
I learned a lot in Hamilton. I lived out in Mississauga for a while, came back in Hamilton, an Italian background. Went to school for sales and marketing for a while. I like to say it took me 3 years to get a 2-year marketing degree.
You were really studying.
That's right. I wanted to make sure those extra.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Absolutely.
I like that.
Yeah,
I could appreciate that.
And and I got into sales pretty much at like 18, 19 years old. So who knows what a home phone is? Right? Remember home phones, right? Yeah. So
Think about it.
Yeah, think about home phone. Right? Yeah.
I was thinking bag phone. Do you remember the bag phone?
Oh yeah.
That was like in the car. You had to plug it into the lighter, and it was like that. And I would just drive around, not talk to anybody, and pretend I was cool.
Yeah, that's right. The huge brick, right?
You did it too.
Yeah.
Come on.
But Bell demonopolized the home phone service, so Rogers was getting involved. So I literally knocked door to door. Knocked door to door selling Rogers home phone service. Hey, it's Alfonso here from Rogers.
That's awesome.
And did that throughout my career, and then worked for like a global window coverings distributor. Again, in sales and marketing and that kind of stuff. And then I went to a huge corporation of UPS, which and they've been around since like the 1800s, right? A huge sales company. And that's when around that time somebody had mentioned the Rich Dad Poor Dad book, right? And so lots of people's stories start.
That book changed my life. You know what? When I read that book, it's amazing book.
Yeah. So that was like almost 10 years ago. Yeah, 8-9 years ago now. That read that book and then started getting involved. I was on vacation actually when I read the book, and it was like passive income and not having to work time for money. I'm like, this sounds really good. Another margarita, right? So
you're reading the same paragraph over and over again. I didn't quite get that. I got to read it again.
Yeah, again, back to the school, right? It took me a little bit longer to read that book, right? So then I started, and then shortly after that, again, I was living in Mississauga. It was the Rich Dad education, like Robert Kiyosaki was teaching how to invest in real estate. So it wasn't him there, but there was like a whole schooling and education. I went for like the free Thursday night, and then they get you in for like the $100 for the 3 days. And then by the end of the 3 days, like I bought in, man. Like I went in, I dropped about almost $30K.
Really?
Took the education, took the learning.
Good for you.
Yeah, and then I was like scared shitless, right? Because I was like, what do I do now, right? It was like drinking water from a fire hose. All this education, like multifamily, you should wholesale, rent to own, like buy commercial buildings. I'm like, oh my god, yes, I like it all.
It can be overwhelming when you get into those kind of strategies as well.
Absolutely,
too, right?
Again, from Hamilton, my dad worked at the steel company, my mom worked for the government. I didn't have that that entrepreneur background, right? I had friends and family that I knew, but I was always go to school, get a good job, and a pension, all that kind of stuff. And then that kind of took me on the path. I focused finally.
You started changing your thinking, I think, right?
Yes.
Like it got in, because I remember having that with my dad too. He was a Stelco guy, pension, get a job, stay at the job, and do that forever, right?
Exactly.
And then you just need one book can change your life.
Yeah, it takes those blinders off to see that there's other ways, right? There's other ways of doing that. So I guess by the end of it, I really focused in on the rent to own because I didn't have a lot of money to invest. So when I first started, we were finding clients, and we knew people that were doing rent to own, so we'd actually wholesale the client. Here, we have a client, we know exactly perfect for rent to own. I don't know really what to do, so here.
You do it.
You do it, right? And then eventually
give me some some money for it.
Exactly. Yeah, please. Yeah. If it's all right, right. Which is great.
Yeah,
Because I was learning and finding that, talking to like Kijiji ads, talking to so many different people, and again, it was a lot about the numbers. And then I met my now business partner, who had done a couple of Redzones, and I was like, he had a deal. I was like, I want to invest in this deal. I was like, I got it. I had some money at the time. I was gonna, I could qualify for a mortgage. I still had the UPS job, right? So I'm like, I want to do this, but like, when you do conditions on an offer, like the last condition was like, I want to do every step with you, like every single step. I'll be on the phone,
and that's how you learn.
That's it. And basically we kind of took off from there. We really collaborated well because he's more of an engineer mindset in the numbers, and like really like he's gone to more school than like 6 years, like just like he's an engineer, which is really cool. So we mesh, right? And having that background in the system, the structure, and we've been able to kind of replicate that, build that system to help people get into rent-to-owns now.
And that's amazing. You know what? Like you're one of our preferred lenders as well. Like we see you guys as a lender with the product that you have, and I think it really, really helps people. So I think you guys do a great job. I want to get Joe over here too, because you guys have two very similar sort of backgrounds, but very different as well too, because you guys both have an entrepreneurial spirit, and you took a little bit of different route. So why don't you tell the world about Joe Giannola?
I love it. Yeah, same kind of thing. My dad's a bricklayer, my mom's a seamstress. So they just basically said, get a good job where you don't have to break your back. They said, like, go work in an office and make good money. I'm like, okay, sure. So I did that. I went to work for RBC. I was a personal banker.
RBC?
Yeah.
They still around?
Yeah. There's a few locations. They're on their way out.
Anyway.
So I did that for like 3 years, right? I learned a lot because in a personal banker role, you kind of do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Right? So you kind of, it's almost like getting a university degree in personal finances. So I did learn a lot there. And then from there, I specialized in mortgages, went to Scotiabank, became a mortgage underwriter.
Yeah. That's where we met, actually.
Where we met.
Totally.
Yeah. So Brian used to send me mortgage applications.
And you used to decline them all, say, Brian, what are you doing?
Brian,
what are you
not
doing?
Good, buddy. You need to work.
Joe,
I'm just kidding. He was honestly the best one. Anyway, so did that for a while, and then I went to Genworth Financial as a senior mortgage underwriter. For about 6 years. So high risk, high ratio mortgages, approving or declining them. I must have underwrote like thousands of applications.
Yeah. You really got the mindset then too. Like you were great, like still are to this day, but with your numbers, like you like read those things like the Matrix. You know what I mean? Like seeing it. Like I've seen this guy, he's got the two monitors going and it looks like he's Keanu Reeves, like approving mortgages.
Hacking into it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's just been hardwired into my brain, for 6 years of just deal after deal after deal. You sort of learned how to piece things together. You just learn what the mortgage application needs to look like in order for it to be approved.
So what made you, because then you made a totally different leap.
Yeah.
Totally different. So talk about, because I think it's very cool, very admirable, but similar to Alfonso ended up starting his own business, you did another route.
Yeah. I kind of got bored.
Okay.
I guess that's a good way to put it.
Yeah,
so,
fair.
Just, sitting in front of my computer and just underwriting mortgages all day long just kind of got boring. I got tired of it.
Well, I think you got better then in a sense too. It got easy.
Yeah, but at the same time,
you weren't getting challenged.
Yeah, and I got that entrepreneurial bug.
Yeah.
Right? So I actually had an investment property that I bought when I was young. I bought it when I was 23. Sold it, bought a franchise restaurant.
Awesome. See,
right?
I love that. Like we always talk about having an investment property be like the leverage or the catapult to pay off your mortgage or do something like follow your dreams, your passions like that. And I think that's so cool.
Yes.
So you sold your rental, had a bunch of equity, and then used the proceeds for a franchise.
Yes.
Because you like food.
I like burritos.
Yeah,
I do like food too. I like all food.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I bought a Mucho Burrito franchise.
That's awesome.
And then a year later, I bought another Mucho Burrito franchise.
So you're doing that full time, right?
Oh yeah, that was my full-time gig. Yeah. I left mortgages altogether, right?
That's crazy.
And then after, like every year that passed, I just missed mortgages. And I'm like, you know what? I had a good thing there. I'm not totally sure if I enjoy this line of work.
Well, it's very different, right? We were talking about before,
So
right?
different.
It's
Yeah.
because there's lots of ways to make money. There's
Yeah.
lots of different investments. You can invest in real estate, not right, wrong, or indifferent.
Yeah.
You can invest in businesses. You can go commission sales, or you can buy a franchise.
Yeah.
Right. So, what would you say to tell people that is sort of a pro or a con about buying a franchise?
A franchise can, like, don't get me wrong, can be very profitable, right? There's a lot of franchisees out there that make a boatload of money.
Yeah.
So yeah, on the good side, yes, you can make a lot of money. But on the, if things don't go well, you can lose a lot of money. It's a lot of money to be able to buy the restaurant,
Yeah.
right? Like I said, I had to sell a house to buy a restaurant, right?
Yeah.
So that side of it can be risky. When I look at how real estate has performed over the past 5, 6, 7 years compared to how my restaurants have performed, real estate's done better.
Interesting. And it's a cool relationship, right? Like I'm very biased. I think investing in real estate is the best thing in the world,
Yeah.
right? But I love seeing the different perspective on it.
Yeah.
Because you made something mention to, we have tenant issues sometimes. Or like, sometimes you may have heard of these things called tenant issues.
Yeah.
They're not.
No, I mean, it's all bullshit. Yeah, it's all bullshit, right? But like if you have a business and you buy a franchise, you have
There's other kind of issues, yeah.
employee issues, right?
Yeah.
Like you're dealing with people problems,
Yeah.
right? Like on a regular basis, right?
The way that I see it, like, after seeing both sides, after seeing investing in real estate, after seeing investing in a franchise restaurant, and then after seeing investing in being a mortgage agent, right? So, you buy a rental property, it's passive income. Yes, you have tenants, but you don't have to deal with them every day,
Yeah.
right?
Hopefully.
What tenants do you have?
Whoa. Let's the slumlords keep it down in the end.
That's for another show altogether, okay? Yeah.
But like with a restaurant, it's like having 20 tenants that you have to deal with every single day, 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
Right?
Because you're saying the formula, 20 people
Yes.
in typically the food industry. What was that formula? It's about 20.
This is the math that I did, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to make, let's just say you want to make 250 grand a year. Let's just say that's the number. In a restaurant, like, you have to have at least 20 staff members to be able to put that much money in your pocket, right?
And that's a lot of
That's a lot.
A lot of families, a lot of issues, a lot of sick days, or a lot of this, a lot of like.
A lot of people quitting and a lot of rehiring and a lot of retraining, right?
Come on, people quit on you, Joe. You're such a good guy.
Sometimes. Yeah, they do a lot. But like, as a mortgage agent,
Yeah.
right, I could potentially, make 250 grand a year by myself. I don't need a single staff member.
Right.
If I want to make 500 grand a year, I can have one staff member, maybe two, like, good, solid staff members that I can pay well and take care of and make sure that everything's good.
So knowing what you know now,
Yeah.
going in those different avenues, what would you tell your former self, or what would you tell your little Joes growing up, your kids? You know what I mean? Like to say, like, invest in a franchise or
Yeah.
less capital, more time, right? Because like when you start up Jag and you start thinking, there's a bigger, I would say, time commitment building that up
Yeah.
as well too, because you don't have systems.
That learning curve. Yeah, it's like first one is like that's the way to do it, and then you do the second one, like, oh wait, we did that better. Okay, let's do it that way now.
Yeah.
And then the third
Yeah.
one, like, well, here, let's add that one, and then those systems come in place.
You start to build them, they start to grow organically, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what would you say is what would be the way to go if someone's contemplating
way to go?
no investment, money-wise?
Here's the thing.
Buying systems, or the other way?
If you're gonna open a restaurant, make sure you do your homework. Make sure you've worked in a restaurant. You know what it's all about. You understand the risks that
that's
are
good.
involved. Like, I just, the amount of money that goes into buying a restaurant and having no idea if you're going to get that money back, because your restaurant's only worth your sales, whatever your sales are. Real estate, you buy real estate, it's worth what it's worth. It's land, it's there.
And
You know what I mean?
there's a lot of lot of people. I've heard actually like real estate like kind of compared to restaurants, right? Like,
Yeah.
so if you're, let's say, like that big M McDonald's, who are you selling your hamburgers to, right? So it's like, who's going to buy these hamburgers? And that's why they're like changing menus, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But with real estate, it doesn't matter who you are. you have to live somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? You need a roof over your head. Either you're renting, you're buying, right? So guaranteed, people love, the McDonald's is not going anywhere. People are buying burgers, people are driving their kids going to those play places. But but there's who are you buying to the turnover, the effort involved versus, well, here's everybody, now let's target who these people that we want to live in our properties are. Right?
And I think it's like you said too, you pointed out, it's almost a safer leverage. If you're buying a franchise, like I'm sure some franchise could be 50 grand, some could be $500,000.
Yeah.
And you look at that $50,000 as a down payment in a property versus $500,000 as a down payment on 5 rental properties.
Totally.
Right? You're getting more passive income with less headache, I think.
And I think this is really important, you can't really leverage off a restaurant.
Good
right?
point.
I mean, you can take out a business loan.
Like you can
interest
leverage
rate-
off your sales?
Sort of.
Yeah.
But it's going to be expensive, like higher interest rate, it's going to be shorter amortization, bigger payments. Whereas with a house, you're getting the lowest interest rates, you're getting long amortizations, you can leverage it up to 80% of the value of the home. A restaurant, you can't do that.
Yeah.
It's only worth it's not worth the building, it's only worth the leasehold improvements inside the building and the equipment, right?
Yeah.
So you can't really, and if you want to take equity out of a restaurant, you kind of have to sell it.
Interesting. Yeah.
Whereas with a house, you can just keep re-leveraging.
Yeah.
And it just keeps going up.
And I think the more complicated the financing is, the harder it is to leverage.
Yeah.
Right? So when you got a restaurant or a business like that, you can leverage off of income streams, but like you said, it's tougher, right?
And I know that a mortgage application is difficult. Like we know that it's a lot of work.
No, it's not.
It can be challenging at times.
In today's market, mortgage application?
A business loan, good.
They're gonna partner up with like that 23andMe. You're gonna do Oh my
That
God.
might make it easier.
Cut that. Edit that out. You'll give me any idea.
Cut that out. So let's go back to, getting into investments. Obviously, getting into a franchise, more expensive, right? On the other end of the spectrum, tons of people, I think, right now want to invest, right? Like you have the Right Club as well, too, where you teach people how to invest.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Redzone program to get your first property, like to sort of get you in the door? Because mortgage rules right now suck. You know what I mean? Without sugarcoating it. If you're, in your early 20s and you got your first job and you got $15,000-$20,000, right? You worked hard to get that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really hard to get qualified right now. If you don't have bank of mom and dad behind you, or you don't have bank of mom and dad co-signing.
Yeah. Or that income for that 2 years, right? Or right? That kind of stuff. So, yeah, absolutely. To get into that market, we've had a bunch of just young couples or even single people that, one of those things is lacking. They don't have the full down payment they need, or they don't have the credit history, right? They haven't had credit cards, or again, they don't have that credit information, right? And then the other thing is the down payment, right? Like it's tough, right? Like average purchase prices and even Hamilton's keeps creeping up.
Well, you're getting to the 4s for starters now, so you're like 5% down, it's 20 grand. Legal fees, land transfer, you're another one and a half.
Yeah.
Like you're.
So think of like those people movers at the airport. Okay. But think about it if you're going on reverse. You ever try to do it on reverse? I always try to do it. People hate me at the airport.
Are you talking the escalator?
No, the flat ones that people
Okay,
movers. They just go straight, right? So that's what as
That's
a
the technical term, the people mover.
The people mover. I don't know, like the flat escalator.
No,
I guess?
I
don't know.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know. You have to call Otis. They got that. Anyways. But yeah, those people. So you're going on the opposite way, or even use the escalator.
Yeah.
Okay. And you keep trying, you're saving, perfect, I got my 20 grand. But then by the time you have that 20 grand, now it's like, well, prices are $450, now you need 25 or 30.
Yeah.
All right, back to work, saving, keep
That's
going.
a great analogy.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I do it all the time.
Yeah, I love that one.
Right? So this
Remind me never to travel with you, okay? Alfonso, hurry up.
We'll never get there.
You're calling the
want to go to the beach.
Yeah. Let's go. We're missing our plane.
But essentially, that rent-to-own program is stopping that people mover and keeping going so that you can catch up in that program where you are gaining equity that you're going.
Yeah.
And then once you own that house, now you're back on that people moving, you're going.
Totally.
Right? And you've saved that equity. So we've seen young couples, that have done their first purchases and get that knowledge of the whole game of how to qualify for a mortgage. Right?
Well, and you know what I want to bring up too, because we've done more rent-owns this year than I think we've ever done in the history of time, right? Well, and it's just because of that. Like a perfect example, that people mover is like you were moving to save up your down payment, and then 2018 came, new stress test came in, and you worked hard, and now mortgage rules changed, which totally screwed you. Well, not, but you just
it made it harder. It made the bar higher, right?
And you had no influence on that decision, right? So What is the bad thing about rent home? Because there is a lot of negative connotation in the marketplace where people say rent homes are shit. Like they're geared towards the investor, right? And I won't make any money, so I'm not going to do it. It's way too expensive because that's out there.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to use another analogy if it's okay.
I love.
Has anybody ever gone to a gym before? A gym, right? Like a
like last 6 months.
Yeah, no, ever. But okay, take it one step like even so.
Ever.
People pay for gym memberships, right?
Yeah,
you go
totally.
you pay for membership, right? But if you don't go to the gym, do the steps, the things that are required to be in shape, you can't be upset at the gym, right? Like our gym's geared towards,
that's awesome.
Right? So that's the thing, right? So
Yeah.
we work with people. I'll put it this way here: we work with people that want to fix their credit, that want to own their home. We actually do like a reverse psychology. It's like
that.
they're like. The question we used to ask when I was getting those Kijiji calls and all that kind of stuff: do you want to own your home? Everybody's like, yeah, I want to own my home. Great, check. We thought that was awesome. Now we're like, why do you want to own your home? Right? What's your reasoning? I want a safer place for my family. I want to be closer to my work. I just finished school and now I have a good job. I want to be whatever that reason is. That emotional attachment. We're investors. Yes, we look at sound properties, good investment areas that we think are going to grow. That in a worst case scenario, something happens, it's still a good place to live. But we want people attached to these homes that want to live there, that pride of home ownership.
Yeah,
right? Like if
totally.
you own your home, you got to cut your grass, you got to change your furnace filters, you got to do stuff. There's maintenance involved. There's a task. It's not just living free, I'm going to rent to own, and then eventually just own it and call the landlord for every single problem. Yeah. No, you're homeowner in training for that 3 years.
I like that. It's a good way to look at it. Homeowner in training.
So the people that have that negative connotation or that have been screwed by the big bad rent to own companies, it's the people that didn't go to the gym. And didn't say, that gym sucks. Oh, they charged me $20 a month. Well, how often did you go? Well, I went once a week and I didn't lose any weight. Well, bro, like you got to put the work in. You know what I mean? Like you got to learn it. You got to do it.
That's a great point. Totally.
Yeah. I want to say too that having Alfonso, having somebody who does this full time, involved in the transaction, makes things go way easier, neater. Like he's looking at, he's making sure that both sides are happy. A lot of times, where there's no intermediary, the investor can totally take advantage of the tenant, right? Yeah. So having it done properly, I think, is very important.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. You know what? Because a lot of people can take advantage of it, right? Like the gym who says, come and work out anytime, but we're open from 2 to 4.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Go work out, well, you'll totally work, but you got to come to this class.
Well, exactly, and we all, like from the investor standpoint, from the tenant buyer, the client standpoint, and from JAG's standpoint, from our standpoint, we all have to win.
Yeah.
Not one can win and two can lose. Like if the client doesn't succeed and buy the house, the investor doesn't make a return. We're partners with the investor. We're educating them. We have our credit team, mortgage brokers that work with our clients. If you're working with them, fixing their credit, and they don't get their mortgage, well, you're incentivized to get their mortgage, right? Like to get them to be qualified. So we're all pushing in that same direction. Yeah. It's like Joe mentioned, is that there's people that out there do rental loans, and I get it. They want to help people and to do it properly. But you have to have certain parameters in place of it's that bar, right? Again, I'm going to use the gym analogy. Okay, I showed you some pictures from before. Yeah. All right. So if you're a bigger dude and you walk into the gym and a personal trainer tells you, "Hey man, I'm going to get you a 6-pack in a week." Dude, and you're like, oh, awesome, here you go. How much do you want? So we have a vested interest. We're showing them a roadmap of how they're going to own their home.
And I think there's 2 ideal clients that we've seen a ton of lately. One is that first-time buyer, right, who wants to move in, and to use this program for a duplex is brilliant. You get that 20, 22, 25-year-old kid that has saved up a little bit of money, wants to move out of mom and dad's basement. Hallelujah, I can appreciate that. I do that as well too. And now they can have one of their buddies, friends, guy, girl, rent out part of it. So even though that there may be a marginally higher rent per se for that forced savings component, they're gaining equity and they're gaining independence and they're gaining like a life experience at a young age that they normally wouldn't. I just think that's because you can't do that anymore. I was fortunate enough to be able to qualify back when I bought my first duplex because mortgage rules were different. But now this is the perfect thing, and I love what you do because I want to expel the fear around the program because people are still gaining a tremendous amount of equity by jumping into a rent-own program.
Absolutely. Like I said, and even in the hot markets, like what Hamilton's been doing the last 4 or 5 years, what crazy increases, like 2015, 16, when it was like double-digit 20% increases. We use a consistent and like really conservative appreciation rate.
Yeah.
So that we're locking in. Again, we want
30%, right? No.
Yeah. That's payday loans, right?
Yeah, sorry,
29.845. Yeah, right. But again,
no, it's true, though. It's very, very good.
But
that
again,
way, yeah.
you're not wrong to say some rent to
Some
own
do.
people. That's what they do, right? To set that up, because then they're like, oh, they're never going to own that home. It's that trainer that keeps doing that and taking their money, and going, well,
Yeah.
whatever, right? It's again setting them up that we want their success because it's clean. We want them to own that home. They're actually choosing the property, right? Okay, with some parameters and budgets. Okay, but they're picking that home that they want to live in, right? So,
I think it's a brilliant program for people to increase their wealth. To end off, guys, like we're at close to the end here, what would you leave off for advice people wanting to increase their wealth, Joe? You've made a lot of great decisions, and I'm not just saying that because you're at Mission 35, but that was a really good decision, okay? Just throwing it out there.
It was.
But
I love it here.
what are some decisions that you could tell people that are listening right now to help increase their wealth?
Put yourself in a situation where you're forced to save.
Oh,
Where you
that's
don't
awesome.
have any option. So an investment property
Yeah.
is a perfect
Well
example
put.
of that. Yeah, you're not going to not make your mortgage payment.
Yeah.
Right? If your mortgage payment you make, you're buying a little bit more shares in your
That's
home
awesome.
or
Yeah.
in your investment property.
I'm making t-shirts that say that. That is awesome.
Yeah.
But it's true though, when you are forced to save,
Yeah.
it's just happens.
Yeah, if you're just going
Right.
to dump money into like say an RSP every month or a mutual fund or something like that, like automatic withdrawals, it's too easy to just say, it's a bad month, I'm going to cancel that. Or
Right.
it's too easy to just
Take it
tap into that mutual fund, take the money out and go spend it.
Yeah.
Real estate, no. You're invested, you're committed, and you will become more wealthy. Yes, it's a little bit more work, but it works.
Yeah, that's
Right.
awesome. Alfonso, what would you say for people that want to increase their wealth?
I would say, you know what, similar to what Joe said, is like you have to learn it. Like whether it's the restaurant business, whether it's whatever business, mortgage brokers is go out there and learn from somebody that has walked down that path, right? Or have a mentor or coach that, you know, that you aspire to be or want to do that and learn those things, right? And set that up for yourself and make it your own version,
Yeah,
right?
I
And
like
create
that.
that own life, right? So yeah, I think that and that's the wealth. I don't think it's just money. It's that feeling, right? Like
Yeah.
the whole like the fuck it all feeling, right?
Yeah,
So,
it is. You know, it's a growth. I think one thing I constantly remind myself of is I use the analogy of painting a room. You ever try to paint a room and you're like, you know what? I am going to get this sucker done in like 2 hours. And then by the time 2 hours rolls by, you're like, shit, like I haven't even opened the can yet. I'm still taping this thing, right?
disaster, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, this is going to take me like 4 to 8 hours, right? But I always remind myself that, you know, I normally don't accomplish what I think I will in a year. Like I'll underestimate or I'll overestimate what I can accomplish in a year, but underestimate what you can accomplish in 5. And when you end up having that long-term vision and that stick-to-itiveness and that compound effect of just doing it, and I think that's one of the challenges today is where, you know, we're hearing so much about how it's so quick to just make some money and build your wealth, but you took time to do it. You've taken time to do it, and it takes time. And that's okay.
You can't replace time with anything.
Yeah, it just takes
Yeah,
time. So I just want to say thank you guys so much. Can you give these guys a big round of applause? Woo! They're awesome. If you need a mortgage, contact this guy. If you need a rent to own, contact this guy. And check out the Right Club. You want to just give a quick shout out to your Right Club?
Yeah, rightclub.com. So for any investors that, whether you have no properties or you have 100 or 200 or 500 or anywhere in between, really cool club. We meet in Burlington. I don't know if this is going to be up, but May 28th. If you click and like this channel and follow Brian, he's going to email me and you get a free ticket to the event. So, and everybody in here, you know what? Free ticket to the event. Everybody on YouTube. So, come over.
That's awesome. That's
Right Club.
awesome. So guys, tune in next month and we'll let you know what's happening then. Thank you guys so much. Make this a fabulous day.